Hi, Flosstube. It's Kara. I'm back. I apologize for being gone for a 2-month hiatus. I was hoping to get a video posted during tax season and it just didn't happen. And I apologize for that. But if you are new here to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. And if you are a returning subscriber, thanks for tuning in again to another video. Um, for those of you who don't know, I'm Kara, the Granite State Stitcher, both here on YouTube and on Instagram, and I am a tax accountant. Enough said, right? So I hope that it is spring wherever you are. Spring has finally sprung here in New Hampshire. For a while, Mother Nature was teasing us with, oh, it'd be 60 one day and then 20 the next day. And a couple of weekends ago, it was 78 degrees and then the next day it snowed. But I think that finally spring is here to stay. And I'm itching to get outside and do yard work. I was hoping to stain the deck today, but it's raining. It's been raining all weekend. I was at a retreat this weekend, so I will share that with you. And I guess that's it for updates. Nothing new. I'm sure you don't want to hear about taxes, so we'll go right into stitching. So it's funny. Yes, the dogs have been barking today, so you may hear them. Um, on April 16th, the day after tax season, I basically spent a lot of the day sleeping, catching up on sleep. And when I got up, I had a late lunch, early dinner. It was probably about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I just sat and I stitched for 5 hours that night. It was so good. It felt so good just to touch my stitchy stuff and to get things out, sort through the piles, and decide what I wanted to work on. So the first thing that I pulled out, this is what I worked on that night on the 16th. I pulled out my January Wordy Birds because I'm so far behind on this. It's a monthly series being sponsored by Sweet Wing Studios and the Cornhusker State Stitchers, Terry and Jamie. And so I signed up for the monthly club. And of course, I've already received February, March, and April, and I haven't even finished January yet. But I'll have to get on the ball, right? So here is January. And the last time you saw it, I think I only had that much stitched. So that night I sat down, I finished the flowers going across, and I got the bird in. So I like how that's coming along. And that is being stitched on 36 count Aqua Fresca by Grace Notes Fabric. I believe all the fabrics that are being provided in these kits is by Grace Notes. So I was so happy just to be able to stitch. I mean, I did, during tax season, I did finish up Allie's sweater, and I have that all blocked. In fact, it's still blocked behind me. I had to pull out when I measured the front panels with the back was 2 inches too short underneath the arms. So I actually had to rip out half the back, add another 2 inches, and I'm in the process of re-knitting that, getting that all caught back up again. But that's in its final phases of being put together, so I can get that sent to Nebraska, just in time for summer. Who doesn't wear a sweater in the summer, right? Thankfully, I made it large so that she'll be able to wear it next fall. Okay, so like I said, I went to a retreat this weekend, and it is the Library Stitches Retreat up in Augusta, Maine. They did it for the first time last year, and it was such a success. Oh, they did such a wonderful job. They did it again this year. Again, knocked it out of the park. Thank you so much, ladies. I'll talk more about that later, but it was wonderful. So at the retreat, Kathy had suggested in the Facebook group that anyone who wanted to participate, bring an animal cracker to work on. This is the Animal Cracker series by Stacy Nash. So I chose Chili the Penguin, and I got Chili started, and this is being stitched on 36 count vintage country mocha that I just had in stash. And I just got a small start on this. So this is where I am. I got the head started the beak. Now, unfortunately, as what happens at retreats, I was busy gabbing and I didn't even notice that I had stitched up too far here. So this whole section needs to be frogged out. Wah wah. But that's okay. That was a good start on that one. And I'm stitching it with the called for weeks dye works except for sanguine. Now, on this pattern, I thought that that was supposed to be, you know how on emperor penguins they have the yellow feathers on the side of their necks? That's what I thought that was, because that to me looks like an orangey yellow. And Amy was sitting at my table at the retreat and she's doing this too. And she had sanguine with her. And sanguine is like a peachy color. So she says, no, that's supposed to be his cheek. And I'm like, okay, well, I thought it was supposed to be the yellow that's on the side of their neck. Because she said that this is done in sanguine too, the little patterns on his hat. So I think I'm just going to stick with keeping this because even in the pattern, doesn't that look like, well, hopefully you can see it, doesn't that look like more of a yellowish orange to you than a peach? So I'm going to keep this as the yellow. I had pulled out 742, I believe, to stitch that with, and I'm going to keep that as yellow. And for the little motifs on his hat, I'm just going to stitch that in white. So that's the only change that I'm making to this. So that is Chili. Then I pulled out Dog Sampler because I wanted, after I screwed up Chili, I was like, okay, I need something easy to work on that I don't really have to think a lot about. And of course, this is by Imaginating. And you've all seen me working on this. So while I was at the retreat, I got from here over these little motifs right here, the two hearts, and then these two in the middle. And then I got started on the alphabet. So that's the top of the A, the top of the B. So that's how far I got on this. And this is just a kit. This all came. So this is an 18 count white Aida, the stiff Aida, and it came with all the flosses. So Dog Sampler. And I just realized I didn't show you the pattern for the January Wordy Birds. That's what that one will look like. So my apologies on that. And then the last thing that I pulled out to stitch at the retreat was Blue Birds of Happiness by Jeanette Douglas. I'm sorry, JBW, Judy Whitman. And this is being stitched on, I had to look for the name because it's just a scrap piece of linen that I had. And it is 30 count swan feather by Legacy. Okay, so here I am on this. And the last time you saw this, I believe I was only up to here. So I finished the rest of this, went back and filled in all the flowers and started the vine over here. And I'm stitching this for a dear sweet lady who loves bluebirds. And I just realized I talked to you from behind my board, so I hope that you heard what I said. So that's all I have to show you for stitching. But I will be back to talk to you about the retreat. Okay, I'm back now to talk about the retreat. So like I said, the retreat was the Library Stitches retreat up in Augusta, Maine, and they held it for the first time last year, and it was such a success that everybody was begging them to do another one, and they didn't disappoint. Again, such a wonderful retreat, wonderful time. They knocked it out of the park. And what's really nice about it is it's 150 people, and it's held at the Calumet Club. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's along the same lines as an American Legion or a VFW, same type of place. And what's really nice is that they serve you lunch and dinner. So you don't even have to leave the building, which was especially nice yesterday since it was pouring out. But you know what it's like. You're in a strange city, a city that you don't know, and Augusta's pretty big because it's the capital of Maine. And you don't have to worry about driving around, trying to find a restaurant, getting lost, making it back. So that is really, really nice. You don't even have to leave the building. And they had trunk shows and vendors. So it was just a really, really nice, low key weekend. And of course, as with all retreats, it's just nice to connect with other stitchy people, connect with old friends that you haven't seen since the last retreat, meet new friends, meet new fellow Flosstubers. It's just the whole experience is really great. So if you've never been to a retreat, try to find one. You know, you don't have to go far away. Just find one close by, and just go check it out. It's probably something that you'll really enjoy. So at my table, um, I was sitting with my friend Amy, who is a fellow floss tuber. She does two crossed stitches with Mary Lou. I'll have them linked below. And Karen Hildreth, who I've met at many other retreats, and she is a very, very prolific stitcher. She's wonderful. But I got to meet her sister Carol. So Carol was at our table, and Carol does a lot of stitching too. My goodness. And then then there was Michonne, and Michonne came up from Georgia, right outside of Atlanta. So she really made the trip north. And then Adina, who lives in Maine, but I had not met her before. So we had a really nice table. We had a really fun table, and it was just such a good time. So, and like I said, the ladies, the library stitchers, the ladies who put on this retreat just hit it out of the park. So the theme for this year's retreat was traveling the world here in the great state of Maine. Now, if you've never been to Maine, it's so funny because Maine has a lot of towns and cities that are named after actual countries. And just to read some of these off, and cities, popular cities. So we have Norway, Paris, Denmark, Naples, Sweden, Poland, Mexico, Peru, china. And those are the ones that they put on the little post. And someone actually made that and had that at the front entranceway of the building when you came in. That was the picture area. So you could have it's like the signpost if you remember the old television show MASH and how they had all the signposts of all the different places that they were from. So this was really nice. So that was the theme of the retreat. So Erin Elizabeth was supposed to be there and she couldn't make it. She was going to be the guest designer. But she was so nice. I'll take this out of the plastic. And she made up a pattern. She made up a pattern for the retreat. Um, at least I think it was made for this retreat. I'm not, yeah, copyright 2025. So this is called the Travel Sampler. And all the floss was provided. So we got the pattern and the floss, and you choose your own fabric, whatever you want to stitch it on. So that was really nice. Oh, and I should start off with saying when we first walked in, um, they were there greeting us. Joanne was wearing this huge lobster suit, which was hilarious. Because in case you don't know, Maine is known for its Maine lobsters and blueberries and Moxie, if you are into Moxie root beer. But so we were all handed these little travel cases, and they were all in different colors. And of course, they were filled with goodies. They have a little travel tag on them, just so adorable and sweet. And these can hold a lot. I'll tell you something, you know, at retreats, people come around and hand you stuff, and you get table gifts, and you get free patterns from people, and everything fit right in here. So inside that was this, a little needle minder, Library Stitches Retreat, Augusta, Maine, which is really cute. Our passport, and we had to go around. Of course, there were games inside, and we had a bingo card. And then this board. Okay, so this board is designed, you can paint it however you want. Is the handle. It's made to look like a little travel case, and you can glue these things around the border however you want to decorate it, but it is the right size for when you finish stitching your pattern will fit right onto this. So this is your mounting board. This is your finished project. So that is so cute. One of the ladies actually posted already on the Facebook page of how she finished hers and the paints that she used. So really cute. I'm looking forward to doing that. And then, of course, they did hand out a couple of free patterns. One I can't show you because it's the chart only. But Joanna, who sometimes goes to the Augusta stitching group at Panera when I go up, and she is one of the ladies who puts on the Library Stitchers retreat. She designed a pattern just for the retreat. It's called the Good Life Needle Book. Hopefully you can see that. And she included the chart, and she has a little floss ring back here. I don't know what that is on there. Oh, it looks like just a little flower design and a sticker. So how cute is that? So thank you, Joanne. And then, of course, there was somebody just handing out free patterns. You know, we didn't have a freebie table, but there were patterns just going around. So I got this one by Hands On Design. I've had my eye on that for a couple years, but just had never gotten it yet. So that was perfect. And I went there telling myself I was not going to buy. I was not going to buy anything. I did not need anything. And I succeeded. I succeeded with not buying. Oh, but believe me, there were some gorgeous patterns there. They had a trunk show from the Blue Flower. Loved one of hers. They had a trunk show from the Artsy Housewife. She had a couple of beautiful, beautiful patterns, but I refrained. I refrained. I really need to. I told myself at the beginning of the year, going back to my January video, that I was going to be stitching from stash this year. So I am going to try to abide by that. So I was very good. I was very good. But I did have to make these two purchases. When I saw them, Rhode Island Deb made these. First of all, this giant tomato made out of felt, and she made these little pins. Isn't that cute? Love it. She had little key fobs too, little tomato key fobs. But not only did she have that, she also made blueberries. And I love this because this one has the blue color mottling that you would see on a real blueberry. And of course, the little blueberry pin. So cute. So I did break down and I bought these. But that was the only thing I bought. And then I met up with my friend Sarah, who is the Northwood Stitcher. Hi, Sarah. And she brought me, I had purchased a couple of patterns from her. She has her new eBay store open, and she was kind enough to not charge me the shipping and just brought everything with her to the retreat. So we met up, and I had a pattern that I had a duplicate of that I gave to her, but this is what she brought me. So Leisure Arts. What year is this? This is November, December 1987. And look at that Santa Claus. There was somebody in the Smalls Exchange there. It's very, if it wasn't this Santa Claus, it very closely resembled this Santa Claus. And she did it as a tall stand-up, and it was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. Whoever received that as their Smalls really got a work of art. They really did. So I got this from Sarah. 46 aircraft. I'm going to stitch some of these for my daughter. I'll have to ask my son-in-law. Maybe I'll just stitch them all. Maybe I'll just take one piece of fabric and stitch them all on there. Let me see if her plane is on here that she flies. I didn't even look to see. Oh, B52 130. She flies the RC 135. It is close to a 747. It is made by Boeing, so it is a large plane like this. I'll just have to, let's see, is it on the back? No. I might just have to take this plane right here and change it to make it look like hers. And instead of putting 747, I'll just put RC 135. So, but we'll see what I do with that. This, oh, I have been searching for this, and Sarah actually had a couple of these. And this is a Leisure Arts from 1990, and it's called Holiday House. And what you do is you stitch the house, and then you have each one of these designs that you stitch, and you just Velcro it to the front door. So, all right, you have your winter, you have your or Christmas, back to school for September. I love this. I first saw this on Too Tall Stitches. Jen had stitched this, and that was a couple years ago that she showed this, and I had been searching for this for a couple years. And Sarah had two of them. Then I got this one, the freight train, just because we're a train family, because my father was very much into trains. A Glendon Place grasshopper pie. I don't know when I will start this. I do have my chatelaine kitted up. I'll show you that pattern in a minute. So I got this, and then a Teresa Wensler Petite. Now, I'm doing Teresa Wensler's Peacock Tapestry, and this is so similar to Peacock Tapestry, but it's only 90 by 125 stitches. The finished design size, even if you do it on a 14 count, is a 6 by 9. So it's not really that large. So I might finish this one if I start this before I finish the full coverage Peacock Tapestry. Are these blended? Ah, even these smalls are blended. Wow. But we'll see. We'll see when I start that. Oh, it looks like the sun is trying to peek through the clouds. I guess it stopped raining, but it's still wet out there. I have trees around my house. All the trees are budding, and I have trees that have those little red flowery type buds. And of course, they blow off the trees and they're all over my deck. So I really need to power wash the deck. I really want to get that stained. Oh, so I was going to show you my chatelaine. Okay, so here is the chatelaine that I'm going to be doing. It's called Alpine Seasonal Garden. Here's the picture. And it was a toss-up between doing this one or doing it was a polar one. Oh, what's it called? Winter Polar Lights or something, but it had penguins on it. And so I really wanted to do that one too. And this one has, you know, the little lake and the pine trees. And so I just decided to go with this one first. Try to get this back in the plastic. So I do have it all kitted up. I just haven't pulled the fabric yet, but I have all the floss, all the beads, everything's in there. That's what I've been working on during tax season. When I say I've been shopping, just to get this kitted up, because I did not have this stuff in stash. And if it's a chatelaine, I want it to be flosses. I'm still missing, I think, 3 Gloriana silks, and it's so hard to find Gloriana these days. I will be going to Celebrations of Needlework in Nashua next month, and there's always vendors that have Gloriana there, so I'm hoping to hook up, maybe find the missing 3 that I need. Okay, so that's it. Plans, like I said, Celebrations of Needlework is next month, so I will be attending that, and those I can just drive over to Nashua. Um, I think it's for 4 days. It starts on Wednesday night and then goes Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I think I'm going over on Friday and Saturday. I signed up for 2 classes, and um, so yeah, and I didn't sign up for any lectures this year. So I'll just be going over there for that. And then I have my quilt retreat coming up the first week of June. That's the one that I always go to up in Waterville Valley. And then I have um, StitchCon the third week in June. I go to StitchCon B, and I'll be going with Amy. So we'll be riding out there together. And then on the way back, we're going to stop at Hobby House in New York. So that's kind of like what I'm saving my money for. I did not need to buy anything at retreat here. I want to save my money for Hobby House because I've never been to Hobby House. So that's about it. That's it for plans, other than I need to still get Allie's sweater finished. Oh, Mania. Forgot about Mania. So I think for Mania, I'm just going to do the same thing I did last year, where I will pull out, let me see how many weeks there are in May this year. May, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 weeks, 4 full weeks in May, and 2, 3 extra days. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I'll just do 4. So I'll work on 4 Mirabilia pieces, or Nora Corbett's. I consider Nora to be Mirabilia. So I will pull out 4 of my Mirabilias that I'm working on, and I will work on each one for a whole week, and then I will switch off to the next one. And then I'm also going to put all my patriotic pieces on a wheel again, and I'm going to do Patriotic May. So each day I will be working on a mirror and a patriotic piece. Again, the mirror will go for a whole week, and the patriotic charts that I pull out, or they're actually whips. I started them last year during Mania. And then each day will be devoted to a different patriotic whip. So that way, those will get some love, get some attention. And then other than that, I'm going to continue working on Wordy Birds. I'm going to look through my pile that I have here, see what I haven't touched in a long, long time. I do need to get my New England sampler done. That is a goal for this year. I need to get Allie's letter A done. That is another goal for this year. And then we'll see what else happens. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I will have a list below. If I know, I don't know, they had all the Flosstubers come up and have a picture taken. And hopefully they have that list. They had the list provided last year, so hopefully they have it provided again this year. And I will link all those below if you would like to go check any of those out. And that's it for now. I will be back with another organizing video. I have shot part of that already. Now that tax season is over, I just need to get organized and back in sync. Oh, that's another goal. I will be starting the sewing/craft room. I am ready to go on that. I have the paint ready to go on the walls. I need to finish the flooring in there, get everything moved out of that room. I'll be doing some before and after videos of that room, and maybe some like progress videos in between. So anyway, it's going to be a busy summer. No weddings this year. Both kids are married, done with. If you've been with me for a while, you know that 2 years in a row I had weddings. Boom, boom, September, October. That killed me. That killed me. So no weddings, no major travel plans this year other than to go to StitchCon. And that's about it. So I'm glad to reconnect with you guys, glad to catch up with you, and be on the lookout for the next video. Take care. Happy stitching. Bye-bye.